Last session we have seen YTM computation based on trial and error method, and then we looked at the realized YTM, wherein the YTM and the reinvestment rate are different. So today we look at a different case study, and then we look at a little more input on YTM and then computation of YTM when the capital gain tax is given, and we will look at the time permits. Today we look at the forward rates, the calculation of forward rates. So as last session we have seen one case study, and we look at one more case study today. The price of 1,000 rupees par value carrying coupon rate of 7% maturing after 5 years is 1,040. So 1,040, so that means the price is higher, the market price is higher. So in such case the yield is less or yield is more? Yield is more than, yield is less than coupon rate or more than coupon rate? Less than coupon rate. The yield must be less than coupon rate. So let us calculate the approximate YTM. Approximate YTM. Hope all of you can see the board. Approximate YTM. Let us use this case. Let us use 0.6, 0.4 equation. We don't use the equal weightage. Let us use 0.6 and 0.4 as per the case what is given. So either you can use equal weightage or you can use 0.6 or 0.4. So let us look at a different, little variation in the equation that we have used earlier. There is annual interest payment, AIP, annual interest payment plus, that is maturity value, correct? Maturity value minus price, maturity value minus price, market price, CMP, maturity value minus current market price, divide by 5, okay, whole divide by, there is 0.6 into current market price plus 0.4 into maturity value. So instead of previous equation, what we have done is current market price plus maturity value divided by 2. We have given equal weightage, but now we are giving a 0.6 and 0.4 weightage. Weightage is a little higher for current market price. So let us use this equation. Any equation you can use for the examination point of view to calculate approximate YTM. So annual interest payment is 7% of 1,000, that is 70 plus maturity value is 1,000 minus current market price 1,040 divide by 5 whole divide by 0.6 into 1,040 plus 0.4 into 1,000. How much comes? 0.6 into 1,040 plus 0.4 into 1,000. The previous equation what you have done is 1,040 plus 1,000 divided by 2. We are given equal weightage, but this equation we are giving a little higher weightage for current market price. That's the only difference. You can use any equation for examination point of view. How much comes? What is that? What's the rate? How much it comes? $70 plus minus 40.
So to 0.0605.
0.0605. 0.0605. That is 6.05%. 6.05%. 6.05%. Okay. Look at the next question. What will be the realized YTM if the reinvestment rate is 6%? The investor is not investing at the same YTM and is investing at 6%, which is less than the YTM, more or less equivalent to YTM. So in such case, what will be the realized YTM? So we'll have to compute first the future value. We'll have to compute the future value because he is reinvesting at 6%. So what is the future value? That we'll have to calculate first. So let us calculate the future value first. So future value we'll have to calculate. He is reinvesting at 6%. So 70 rupees he will be receiving after 1 year. So 70 rupees, 70 is receiving 1 year. So how much he will get after 4 years? So he can reinvest for 4 years. So he is receiving after 1 year. So he has to reinvest for 4 years. So 70 into 1.04 power 5, 1.06, because reinvestment rate is 6%. So 6 by 100. So he is reinvesting for 4 years. The first year interest he is reinvesting for 4 years. Then second year interest is reinvesting for 3 years. Second year interest is reinvesting for 3 years. And third year interest is reinvesting for 2 years. And then fourth year interest is reinvesting for 1 year, and he will be receiving back the fifth year interest, and he will receive back the 1000 maturity value. 1000 maturity value. So what will be the future value? Any clarification, anybody? The previous case also we have done. Any clarification, anybody? 70 into 1.06 power 4, that is for first year interest, plus 70 into 1.06 power 3, that is second year interest, plus 70 into 1.062, that is for third year interest, 70 into 1.06 power 1, that is for fourth year interest, plus fifth year interest, plus you will get back the maturity value. How much comes? Total? Hello? How much you will receive? Future value? Anybody? How much you got? Calculate. What is the future value? Future value will be how much? Got it? Anybody? Calculation? Subhashri, how much you got? Okay.
So 1394.59.
1394.59. So if he is reinvesting 59, if he is reinvesting at 6%, he will get back after 5 years 1394.59. 1394.59. But the current market price is 1040. The value of the bond is 1040. So what will be his realized YTM? I mean, he will get little higher YTM. He'll be getting little higher yield. So what is that higher yield? The yield will be relatively higher because he is reinvesting and receiving the interest back. So how much is value? That's what we are going to calculate. That is future value divided by market price, power 1 by 5, power 1 by n minus 1. That is realized YTM is realized YTM realized OATM is future value divided by market price power 1 by n minus 1. Power 1 by n minus 1. So future value is 1394.59. Market price is 1040. Power 1 by 5 minus 1. 1394.59 divided by 1040 power 1 by n minus 1. What's the value? 0.06, sir. 0.06. Little higher. 0.06. 4 is coming. No. 6.04 is coming. No, nothing like that.
0.0604.
04, yeah. The 6.04. 6.04. 6.04. Okay. So at 6.04 rate, both the rates are equal. I mean, the future value and the market price are equal. The meaning is at 6.04 rate, the realized OATM, I mean, the future value and the market price are equal. So any clarification, anybody? Any clarification, anybody? All of you understood? Hello? Shall we proceed further?
Sir,
Yeah, tell me. Tell me, any clarification? Ah.
theoretical explanations, can you please?
Yeah, theoretical explanation is if the investor surely, I mean, at any point of time, he may not keep the, for example, 70 rupees what he is receiving. He is receiving for 70 rupees here, correct? The investor is receiving 70 rupees, correct? This 70 rupees interest, there are two options for the investor. One is 70 rupees he can spend. I mean, he can spend for his own personal needs. The 70 rupees, whatever he receives as interest, he can spend for his personal needs, personal consumption, or he can reinvest. The same 70 rupees, whatever he is receiving, he can reinvest. Reinvest at a rate. If he reinvest at the same yield, the same OATM, in such case, the realized OATM will it be same? It will be same. If the reinvestment rate is different, so in such case, his realized OATM will be different because he is reinvesting. So he is receiving 1394.59. The same 70 rupees he is reinvesting and reinvesting at 6%, and he will be receiving 1394.59. So at what rate this 1394.59 and 1040 are equal? At what rate? So that rate is called realized OATM. Okay. So both the rates are equal. What is OATM? OATM means the rate at which the cash inflow from owning the bond and the market price are equal. So what is realized OATM? The realized OATM is the rate at which the future value of reinvestment rate and the market price are equal. So at what rate this is equal? At 6.04%. 6.04%. So if you calculate 6.04%, so this particular value of the bond, 6.04 of the particular value of the bond, you will, the 1394 if you want to calculate, that price will be equal. Okay. Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
So in short, the rate at which the future value of reinvestment rate and the market price are equal. If he is reinvesting at the same yield, the same YTM, so in that case, realized YTM and YTM are equal. But in reality, what happened was the investor is usually spending it. He may not reinvest. He may not reinvest because he is receiving the fund interest for his personal needs. If at all the person is reinvesting, then what will be the realized YTM? So this realized YTM in practical situation, it may not arise. Why it may not arise? Because investor may not reinvest whatever is receiving the interest. So he will use that interest for his personal needs, personal consumption. He may not reinvest. So in that scenario, the realized YTM may not be applicable in a real-time situation. Subhashri, got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, realized YTM may not be applicable in real-time situation because in real-time situation, whatever you are receiving dividend or interest, you will not reinvest. The investor will not reinvest. He will use that particular amount for his personal needs, personal consumption. Got it?
Got it, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So it may not be applicable. In real-time situation, it may not be applicable. Okay. So in third case, just to calculate the value of the bond, that you can do it. You can practice it. Third case is value of the bond. And the fourth case is also value of the bond. That is price of the bond that we have done the first case itself. And fifth one we have done already. Fifth one we have done. And sixth one you can practice it. We have seen that. The sixth one also we have seen. Okay. Now seventh one. Look at the seventh one. Seventh one is semi-annual interest. So please look at that. Rupees 1000 par value bond bears a coupon rate of 10%, matures after 5 years. It is there in the LMS. Kindly look at. All these case studies are in the LMS in lecture 3. Lecture 3 it is there. Interest is payable semi-annually. It means every twice a year you get the interest. Compute the value of the bond if the required rate of return is 18%. Yield is 18%. R is 18%. Coupon rate is 10%. Coupon rate is 10%. The coupon rate is less than the R. So the value of the bond will be higher than the par value or less than the par value. Hello? The yield is higher. So the value of the bond will be higher or less?
Higher, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Higher.
Hello?
Higher.
Yield and price are what? Yield. Inversely. That's what I'm again and again the same theorem only. Yield and price. So now the here yield is given. Here the yield is given. So far we are calculating yield. Now the yield is given. So the yield calculation is over. We have seen nominal yield, current yield, yield to maturity, and then yield to call and realized YTM. There are 5 yield that we have seen. Now we are just revising, all the case studies what is given in that list of case studies. Okay. So the yield is 18%, which is higher than coupon rate. So what will be the price? Price is less than the par value or more than the par value? Less than the par value.
Less than.
Yeah. What we have calculated at the beginning of the lecture. Value of the bond. To compute the value of the bond, the required rate of return is 18%. So if it is annual interest, you can, what is the 10% coupon rate? That is 1000. 1000 means 100. 100. So 100 divided by 1.18 power 1 plus 100 divided by 1.18 power 2. We can do it. Okay. So it is semi-annual. Semi-annual means you divide the interest by 2. Divide the interest by 2. That is 50 rupees. The interest will not be 100 rupees. Interest will be 50 rupees. The number of years will not be 5 years. Number of years will be 10 years. And the yield will be not 18, the yield will be 9. Hello? Got it? If it is semi-annual, everything will be divided by 2. coupon will be divided by 2, R will be divided by 2, and the year of maturity will be multiplied by 2. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got it? So that is a slight difference when the semi-annual interest is given. Let us calculate this. Let us calculate this. Let us calculate this. That is semi-annual interest. The P is semi-annual. If it is semi-annual, that is semi-annual. Okay. That is what is some general equation that we have done? It is I divide by 2. Okay. I divide by 2. I am writing general equation. I divide by 2 whole divide by 1 plus R by 2 power T. Okay. Power T 2T plus M divided by 1 plus R by 2 to 2 into M. What have we written? I divide by 2 whole divided by 1 plus R by 2 power T. T is time period. Okay. M divided by R by 2 into 2 into M. Okay. So here 5 years we need to calculate for 10 years. So what is the coupon rate? Coupon rate will be 50. Not 100, it will be 50. What will be the coupon, R? R will be 9%. So 1.09 power 1. 50 divided by 1.09 power 2 plus 50 divided by 1.09 power 3 plus 50 divided by 1.09 power 4 plus 50 divided by 1.09 power 5, 1.09 power 6 plus 50 divided by 1.09 power 7. Okay. 50 divided by 1.09 power 8. 50 divided by 1.09 power 9. Last one 1050. 1050. 1050 divided by 1.09 power 10. So 10 years you have to calculate, 10 times you have to calculate, not 5, 10. That's the only difference. All of you got it? If it is semi-annual is given, how to calculate? Deepak, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can calculate that. You can do it by yourself. Okay. So any clarification, anybody? Anything anybody want to ask? Then we'll go to the next case study. You can. Just wanted to. If at all the semi-annual is given, you should not get confused. Okay. So only thing you have to divide R by 2, I by 2, and the number of years will be multiplied by 2. So we go to the next one.
So the remaining calculations is all the same, right?
Same. Remaining calculation would remain same. Remaining calculation would remain same. Yeah. So you are going to calculate the value of the bond. So value of the bond, as per the case, the answer what is given is 742.90, which is less than the par value. Because the yield is higher. Yield is higher than the coupon rate.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So when you look at the next case, case number 8, 8% coupon rate, 10% semi-annual, R is 12. So 12 means 6%. 6%. Coupon rate is 8%, that is 8 rupees. So it will be 4 rupees. 8 by 2, 4 rupees. And you will have to calculate for how many years? It is 10 years, you have to calculate for 20 years. You have to calculate for 20 years. That's the only difference. Okay. Yes.
So just one doubt.
Yeah.
So since this is 20 years, do we have any other formula? So we can.
Now, 20 years means you have to use the table value only.
Oh, okay, okay.
Table value. As we've discussed, no? Table value. You'll have to take 6%. 6% you'll have to take for 20 years. Table number 4. 6%, table number 4. Table number 4 you have to calculate present value interest factor annuity. 6% 20 years. Then for the maturity value, table number 3. Table number 3. That is 6% 20 years. 20 years and all, it's highly impossible to calculate. You have to use the table value.
Okay, so understood.
Yeah. Okay, so look at this case study, a different case study. Different case study what is given here. Wherein capital gain tax is given. Capital gain tax. So studied income tax. Anybody what is called capital gain tax? So look at the case. Let us look at the case first. There are two bonds, bond A and bond B. Bond A is 11% coupon rate, 8 years maturity. The price is 80. Price is 80, which is less than the par value. Less than the par value. So the yield will be less or higher. Hello? The yield will be higher than 11% or less than 11%. The price is 80. So the yield will be less or higher.
Higher, sir.
Yeah, correct. Higher. Because the yield is, the price is less. Bond B also same thing. 9%, 9 years, 70. So yield will be higher. The income tax rate is 34%. Income tax rate is 34%. The capital gain tax is effectively 10%. Capital gain tax, 10%. Capital gain tax are paid at the time of maturity on difference between the purchase price and par value. Purchase price and par value. Okay. Purchase price and par value. So what is the post-tax yield to maturity for these bonds? Post-tax. You have to calculate post-tax maturity to these bonds. Okay. Before we proceed, what is called capital gain tax? What is called capital gain tax? Anybody who has studied the previous trimester, what is called capital gain tax? Anybody? What is called capital gains?
So the income from the capital asset of the company.
Okay. So who is this? Gayatri. Gayatri. Income from. Okay.
So when you.
Yeah, income from. Yeah, let her continue. Let her continue. Gayatri, what are called capital assets?
The capital assets are the long-term assets of the company.
Okay. So what are called long-term assets?
Long-term assets like
Ah.
long-term bonds.
Any years is there for long-term capital assets? Any years is there? Years of usage? Years of usage? Any definition is there? Yeah, somebody was trying to say something. So any of you will get 1 mark. Gayatri got 1 mark.
Below 1 year and long term will be more than 1 year.
Gayatri got 1 mark. Gayatri 1 mark.
Yes.
Yeah. So another one. Gayatri, first time you are getting it, no?
Yes, sir. In this class, it is the
First time, okay. What is that? Somebody said something?
Below 1 year.
1 year or 3 years or anything else?
The below 1 year will be short term, more than 1 year will be long term.
Okay. Correct?
And sir, it is rate 20% for long term.
Yeah. Capital gain tax 20% for long term.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's the current rule, sir, saying that if you are investing, say if 3 months you have to, if it's in stock market, then
Yeah.
3 months before the X date and 3 months after the X date.
Yeah, correct. So Jibin, what's the number?
Jibin sir, Rijo sir.
Who?
Rijo sir.
Rijo, what's his number? What's your number, Rijo?
Sir, 33 sir.
Short term. Okay, so but all this, I mean, bonds and stocks, or we take it as 1 year. If it is used for more than 1 year, it's called the long term. Less than 1 year, it's called short term. Okay, and for other assets, we call it as a 3 years. We call it it is for 3 years. The building or land, it is used for more than 3 years. It is called long term. Less than 3 years, it is called short term. For the bonds and stocks, the number of years of usage is 1 year. If it is more than 1 year, if it is used, it is called long term. Less than 1 year, it is called short term. And accordingly, the gain that we receive, all these assets are being sold. So the gain or loss on sale of these assets are subject to tax. That is the magic of all our calculation. Any unauthorized landowner, the land builder, because the authorized land builders, they are all comes under the regulatory mechanism of real estate companies, and then they'll have to pay, they'll have to register. I'm talking about the registered companies, and you may find unauthorized ones. They are all unorganized sector. A local builder, he may not have a proper company, and he may not have a proper office. He may not register. He just build the house and they sell. And those unauthorized people, they may, he will build the house for say 60 lakhs. He may sell it for 1 crore 20 lakhs. The 60 lakhs is gain. So the 60 lakhs, whatever he receives, where he is going, he doesn't pay any tax. Because they are all unauthorized builders. Unauthorized builders, and they don't come under the tax purview at all, and they don't pay any tax. So that's what we are talking about. So only not even 20% of the total population we are paying tax. 20% of total population. The remaining 80% are not paying tax, because most of them are in unorganized sector. They are in unorganized sector. They don't come under tax purview at all. Okay, so when these builders, if they are authorized, they'll have to pay all this capital gain tax are subject to. They'll have to pay all this capital gain tax. Okay. It is paid, capital gain tax is paid, the difference between the purchase price and par value. The purchase price is 100 and the par value is 80. Okay, so there is a difference. We have to pay. Now, first we have to calculate 11% coupon rate is given. First you calculate the post-tax. The previous cases, tax rate is not given. So we forgot about, we never worried about whether it is pre-tax or post-tax. When the tax rate is given, calculate the post-tax interest, because interest has got tax advantage. The interest has got tax advantage. So the more we pay, the company pays tax, the less the company pays its tax. The more the company pays interest, the less the company pays the tax. So 11% interest, 34% is the tax. So we'll have to calculate the post-tax, first one. Post-tax interest. First one, calculate. Calculate post-tax first. Okay. Bond A, bond B. Hope all of you can see that. Bond A, bond B. Post-tax. Post-tax. Okay. Post-tax is 11% into 1 minus T, 1 minus 0.34. 11 into 1 minus 0.34. 11 into 1 minus 0.34. Here 9 into 1 minus 0.34. 9 into 1 minus 0.34. How much comes? 11 into 1 minus 0.34.
7.26.
7.26. 7.26. 9 into 1 minus 0.34. 5.94. 5.94. Okay. 5.94. Now, he is buying for the bond for 80 rupees, 100 rupees, and the price is 80. Price is 80. So the difference between these two, he has to pay the tax. So how much he has to pay the tax? That is 100 minus 80. 100 minus 80 he has to pay the tax. Tax is 10%. So 100 minus 80 is 20. So 20, 10%, 2 rupees. 2 rupees. So what is the maturity value? 100 minus 2, 98. All of you got it? Hello? Maturity value. Maturity value, post-tax maturity value. Post-tax maturity value. Okay? The capital gain tax is you bought it for 100. You bought it for 100. Okay? The price is 80. Current price is 80. Okay? So how much you have to pay? The tax is 100 minus 80. So the capital gain is 20 rupees. So you have to pay for 20 rupees tax, that is 2 rupees. 2 rupees he has to pay the tax. 100 minus 80. The difference between the purchase price and par value, the difference between purchase price and par value, that's a tax. That is 100 minus 80. So 100 minus 80 into 0.1. Here 100 minus 70. 100 minus 70 into 0.1. That is 98. That will be 97. Any clarification, anybody? Any clarification, anybody? Post maturity value. So maturity value, you will not get 100 rupees, you will get after deducting the tax. After deducting the tax, the tax amount will be 100 minus 80. All of you got it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
100 minus 80, the other one 100 minus 70. So 100 minus 80 is the gain. In that 20 rupees, in that 10%. In that 10%, so 10% on 20 rupees, 2 rupees. So 100 minus 2, 98. The second case, 100 minus 70, that is 30 rupees. So 30 into 10%, that is 3 rupees. So 100 minus 3, 97. Maturity value. Okay. Then you have to calculate YTM. YTM, you can use any equation. Either you can use equal weightage or 0.6 weightage. So you can use equal weightage, no problem. So that is post-tax YTM, approximate YTM. Approximate YTM. Okay. That is interest payment. So how much is the interest payment? Interest how much is 7.26. 7.26 into, that is 100. What is the value? Maturity value is 98. 98 minus 80 divided by 5 whole divided by 98 plus 80 divided by 2. Equal weightage. Another one, 5.94. 97 minus 70 whole divided by 97 plus 70 divided by 2. Got it? Approximate YTM. Anybody? Any doubt?
7.26 into 98 minus 80 divided by 5.
Sorry. How many years? Oh, sorry. How many years of maturity? I forgot.
8 years.
Oh, sorry. But divide by 8. I thought it's 5 years. 8 years. The second one is how many years? 9 years. So divide by 9. Sorry. So 97 minus 70 divided by 9. Thank you. Thank you, Father. 98 minus 80 divided by 8. 97 minus 70 divided by 9. Post-tax maturity value. So the tax rate is given for calculating YTM. So this is a way you have to calculate. What is the answer? What's the answer you're getting? What's the answer?
So 0.118.
11.88.
So 11.83.
11.83. Okay. 11.83. The case it is given 10.91. Slight difference will come because you are giving equal weightage. Slight difference will come. You can use any equation. Doesn't matter. How much comes?
So the first one is 10.68.
10.68. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Subhashri, have you checked? Subhashri,
Yes, sir. I'll check, sir.
11.83 or 10.61?
Sir.
How much comes? Subhashri, how much comes?
So it's coming the same, so I don't know. I'll check.
Who said 10.63?
It's a Gayatri. I got 10.68.
68, huh? Please check.
Yes.
Second one, how much comes?
So 10.71.
Second one, huh?
Yes, sir.
Second one is 10.71. Father, please check. Please check, Father.
Sir, the first one is 10.91 only, sir.
First one is 10.91 exactly coming.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second one?
Second one is 10.71, sir.
10.71.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Father, please check. For Eben,
Sir, I got a different answer. That's why I'm confused.
what is the answer you got?
Sir, when we use this equation, giving the weightage, no, we get the same answer, sir.
0.6 and 0.4.
Yeah.
0.6, 0.4, you will get the same answer. No doubt about it. When you are giving equal weightage, how much is coming? We have used equal weightage, you know. You can use any equation, doesn't matter, but accordingly slight difference will come. Since the approximate, it's not the exact one. Exact one we'll have to go for a trial and error method.
So for the second one, I got 11.59.
11.59. The same equation what we have done, correct? Equal weightage. Equal weightage. 11.59, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first one?
10.68.
10.68. Okay. $10.68. 10.68. Yeah. Maybe the right one. Okay. So any clarification? Anybody? Any doubt? The same case study is given here. The tax rate is here 33%. Remaining would remain same. Okay. So you'll have to calculate post-tax yield to maturity from these bonds. You can do it. Okay. So any clarification? Anybody? We'll do this case also. Can do it this case. Case number 10. What is given here? 33% the tax rate. There is 12%. So 12%, 12 into 1.033. 1 minus 0.33. 1 minus 0.33. The second one is 8%. 8 into 1 minus 0.033. So 333. So how much comes? First one, 11 minus. Now what is the 1000 rupees bar value? No, 1000. No, per 1000 means 120. 120. 120 into 90. Next one is 80 here. 8%, 80 rupees. This would be 80. 80. So it will be post-tax interest is 80-40. 80-40. The second one is 53.6. 53.6. The post-tax maturity value is 1000. 1000. So 100 minus 1000 minus 930 into 0.1. 1000 minus 930 into 0.1. That is 930 is the value price. Here 1000 minus 860 into 0.1. 860 into 0.1. 1000 into.
Then that the laptop a little bit different. We can see that other part of the
Correct. So 1000. 1000 minus 860 into 0.1. Okay. So how much is coming? It is 993. 993 and 986. 986. So post-tax yield to maturity will be. Post-tax yield to maturity will be. You can use the 0.6, 0.4 equation. You can use. That will be 80.4. 80.40 into. What is the value? Value is 993. So 993 minus the market price is 930. 930 divided by 7. That is 0.6 into 930 plus 0.4 into 993. What happens is when you use this equation, you be a little bit more careful. The previous one is you just divide by 2. But here 0.6 into price So if you make mistake, then again you will be in trouble. 0.6 into price plus 0.4 into maturity value. You should not interchange. Then you will get a very wrong answer. Okay. So the safe is, divide by 2. So if you make mistake in denominator, then things will change. So 0.6 into price. That's what important. Okay. So here 53.6 into what is the price? 986. 986 minus 860 divided by how many years? Divide by 5 years. Divide by 5 years. Whole divide by 0.6 into 860 plus 0.4 into 986. That's right. So any clarification, anybody? So thank you very much.